I didn't have all the right equipment, and I wanted to see if if there was something going on where I didn't have to pay full price for this thing and whatnot. Before I decided to go some sort of swap and put a 392 or an LS engine inside the JK. I take it out there. I presented all my evidence, if you will, and they always appreciate that I had like all this stuff already. They didn't have to do a ton of work to go ahead and do what I did already and see what the issue was. So about an hour after waiting in the waiting room there, the service manager comes out, and he's a pretty cool guy, and he's like, "Look, Mario, you're gonna be pissed, but your engine block is definitely warped. We're gonna have to replace it." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." He's like, "The good news is I have a bunch of them stock in the back, and I thought about it for a second. I'm like, why does he have so many of these in the back in stock? That's a red flag right there. So in talking to him, I'm like, look, I know you can't disclose anything. You don't want to tell me it's your guy's fault or Stellantis's fault. And he's like, look, there's a situation with particular engines that were manufactured down in the Mexico plant, which mine was. You could see this on the side of your door. It'll tell you where it was manufactured. So if you have one that was manufactured down in Mexico, most likely you might run into this issue. I'm not going to say you are, but you might. So when they do a sandcast process with the engine block, but they don't fully clean it out, and they'll leave some of that residue, that sand in there. And the oil catch can is supposed to get that, but in my case, it did not. So it did warp it. It'll turn into glass. It'll heat up in there. He didn't say that that's what happened, but he was kind of pointing to that direction.